Now to another clash within the leftist ranks. The chair of Victoria's truth-telling body, the Uruk Justice Commission, has hit out at Premier Jacinta Allen's tougher bail laws because they won't help with Indigenous reconciliations. She said there will be collateral damage. Eleanor Burke also implied that the laws put the Victorian government's apologies to the Aboriginal people into question, saying that the Victorian government's apologies were important. They are important, historic even, but without action, what do they actually mean? Saxon, this is a very interesting little dispute. The argument is made here that the bail laws that were in place, that so many in the community are dead set against and say are inadequate, the argument is made, well, they were made because of a lot of the activism from the Indigenous community, and now they're being abandoned.
Well, this comes down to two issues. One, the truth-telling and whole treaty issue was defeated by the Australian people when they voted against the Voice. The Voice was only step one in the Uluru Statement of the Heart, and if you fail at step one, you can't go around implementing step two and step three. Yeah. The other issue is that Victoria and Australia more generally is in dire need of criminal justice reform. We need to be keeping violent criminals in jail and in prison for longer, and we need to be creating separate rehabilitation programs for our non-violent criminals so that they can become more productive members of society and give back to society after having wronged them. And I mean, softening the bail laws after, it was a completely failed experiment. You only have to walk around in the city of Melbourne to realise this, would be the complete wrong story to tell the community, particularly when they demanded tougher bail laws.
Well, yeah, the Victorian government didn't do this backflip because it wanted to. It was kicked.
It was forced to.
Dragged kicking and screaming to that position because this was becoming a huge issue in the electorate. Now let's switch to Sydney. The Lord Mayor of Sydney has put a ban on events being held at Sydney's parks due to, you guessed it, the climate crisis, and fears the council that it will accelerate severe weather events. The council noting that climate change is accelerating severe weather events. An increased rainfall in the lead up to and during outdoor commercial events has resulted in significant damage to large sections of parks. Now, event planners have labelled the move as ludicrous, warning that it is hindering attempts to bring vibrancy back to the city. Even Premier Chris Minns has called for the ban to be overturned in order to bring back that vibrancy to the CBD and surrounds. Prue, it seems crazy that you've got the local council and the mayor making these decisions that are impacting negatively on New South Wales. I mean, it's the power of that city council seems to be disproportionate.
It totally is. Every time this Lord Mayor opens her mouth, you should issue a storm warning because she is so obsessed with climate change. It's her raison d'etre. She's ruined the city with bicycle lanes so that our lane, it's impossible to get through any of the city streets because of it. And now our beautiful parks that are there for people to enjoy. We've got a dying city thanks to COVID and the fact that people don't want to go in there because it is so hard to get around. And she's going to slug the promoters anyway. I don't understand why there's a problem. I mean, let people enjoy the parklands and bring some life to the city. And she's going to go and slug the promoters to do repair work. So I haven't got a clue. She's the most destructive, willful person I've ever come across in political life. She's really, even Chris Minns, the Premier, is wringing his hands. But she's got so much power. She's conned the corporates in the city to vote for her, and she won't be moved, not by any cyclone or thunderstorm. She's going to stay till she's good and ready to damage the whole damn place.
Well, you know what? They keep voting her in, so she could argue I've got a mandate to do precisely what I'm doing. But yeah, it's strange times when you've got the Melbourne Lord Mayor who seems to be those are leftists, more sensible than the one in Sydney. And Melbourne is supposed to be, you know, the belly of the beast when it comes to leftist politics, but not in this case. Now, before you two go, I do want to talk about international events. Donald Trump has announced a massive $927 billion deal with Saudi Arabia, which will see huge investments made in energy security, defence, technology, critical minerals. And this comes off the back of an interim trade deal that he struck between the US and China. They've agreed to a 90-day truce, and the US, again, seems to be coming out on top in this deal. They've agreed to drop their tariffs from 145% on Chinese goods to 30%. China has dropped their tariffs from 125 to just 10% on US goods. Saxon, this looks like another win for President Trump.
It exactly is. There has never been a bigger mandate for any president than to rewrite the arrangements regarding trade with the United States. And that's exactly what he's done. He campaigned heavily on tariffs. He told the entire world and the American people this is what he was going to do, and they voted him in. And mind you, I mean, the removal of tariffs is a good thing because in the end, a tariff on a good is essentially a tax on consumption. But this is his mandate, and he has done it successfully. He has rewritten the trade negotiations and trade arrangements with other countries. And if they are going to invest in energy security and critical minerals, then, I mean, these are good things, and they should be celebrated.
He campaigned on. This is the thing. These are not surprises. It perhaps were surprises for people in the media, but he campaigned on this relentlessly. We've run out of time. Prue McSween, Saxon, thank you so much for your time tonight.